And welcome to episode 4 of the CSU Lakers show at the Loch with Coach Vince Alexander. I'm your host, David Jones, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in as usual. We have Coach Vince Alexander and Coach Andre Anthony as usual. We got the home team on deck. Welcome, guys. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Dave. How about yourself?
I'm good. Getting over a little cold, but that can't hold me back. So it's just the middle of the season. Everybody got to grind.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know it. You know it.
Hey, listen, man. I'm so excited for you guys to see how this thing is turned around. You guys are, if I'm not mistaken, you're right at 5-7. Yeah, you're 5-7 right now. You're getting close to that 500 mark, and you're 1-1 in the conference with this big win this past Saturday over USC Beaufort. Let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, it was at the Loch, nice little crowd there right before school started. Great victory over the new team that a lot of people don't know about at USC Beaufort, and they're going to be a formidable opponent in the Peach Belt.
Oh, yeah, they will be. I think they're young. They're energetic. They play with a lot of effort. They get after it. They try to press you for 40 minutes and, try to make the game a little fast. But, we like to play that way. So, it didn't affect us that much. We enjoyed it. We were looking forward to it. Certainly, blessed to come out on top with a good win over a good team who had just beat Augusta the 2 days before, 3 days before. So it was a very good win for our program, a good win for our guys, and certainly for Dre and I.
And looking at that game, TJ Stargell, the quarterback, he's getting over his injuries. He played very well. Him and Ty Shirley were the leaders in that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, they both did a good job. I believe they were both, if I'm not mistaken, they both were double-doubles.
Yes.
I think TJ had 12 assists, and Ty Shirley had a double-double with points and rebounds. TJ had a double-double with points and assists. His best game, in a Laker uniform, and we were very, very glad to see that, not only for him, but especially for us.
And again, we always talk about the bench, and the bench came, there was a number of guys that I saw this time. Of course, I'll start off with my one guy, of the Fire and Ice crew, Keandre Bowles. He's becoming that. I can see that 6-man role is going to be his big thing this year.
Yeah, he really enjoys that role. He doesn't complain about it. He looks forward to it every game, and knowing that he's going to have that opportunity to come in, and take the place of, probably one of our 2 top scorers, and he'll jump right in there and fill that void. And obviously, I know you and Dre are very happy because he's a Pittsburgh native.
Absolutely. Don't give away all the secrets. But one of the big things, Coach, that was really big this time, you had 6 guys in double figures.
Yeah.
And wow. That was huge. When I looked at the box score after the game, I said, that's a credit to both of you all, but that's a credit to them as well, because they were sharing the ball. I mean, Deuce is being Deuce. I mean, he had 16 points, but it's almost expected that, Deuce is going to give you anywhere from 15 to 20 a night. Jamal, the heart and soul, Jamal Kleiss, he came up big with 12 points. You had TJ had 11 points. You had Eddie Page. And we're going to talk about Eddie. Eddie came in there and gave some quality minutes with 10 points and 8 rebounds on top of that. He almost had a double-double.
Yeah, I saw that later. I said we almost had another double-double. I wish he got 2 more rebounds, but he did do a good job.
And, I mean, to be honest with you, Coach, in looking at this, like you said, you had 6 guys in double-doubles. 6 guys in double figures, Some of your steady guys, like Wes Williams, he only had 3 points. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because now you have so many other guys that are stepping in on any given night that are giving you good minutes, and now they're giving you even extra scoring now.
Yeah, on West, I felt a little bad for him because he's been sick and he was just returning from, a sickness. So, he hadn't been his best. But nevertheless, he was still very, happy for his teammates and happy for the team. And that's a part of leadership. So I was very proud of him and how he handled it because they went small and he didn't get to play as much. And, he's, like I said, he hadn't been feeling real well, but still very excited for his teammates.
Well, and to your point of what I'm saying is, to me, that's even more exciting because once you get West rolling, and put it like this, when everybody's hitting on one accord like that game, and then you add West and then you add Christian Chambers, two guys that have also had, been in double figures in points throughout the season. You guys are going to be scary. You guys are definitely going to be scary. And now the thing is, a lot of times we know how the business goes. When you're not hot, people don't really like to pay you any attention. But now that you're starting to, get some traction, now people are starting to say, hey, man, what's going on with that Clayton State team? That's, the first thing I always say, I say, you need to come see because they have a number of people and they're deep. And that's going to be your calling card right there. You're so deep. You're 11, 12 deep.
Yeah. We do have a lot of depth. And, it's funny, we haven't had our whole team together this year yet. Last game, Muhammad, was out.
Mm-hmm.
And no, just Muhammad. This game we got coming up, CC's out, and who else? Kennedy is out. It's just like every time you turn around, somebody's out. We don't ever have our whole team. But back to your point, our depth I think helps us, because we miss guys every game. But somebody fills in, and I expect somebody to step up tomorrow and fill in where CC and Kennedy won't be around.
And the good thing about that is you never know who it's going to be. Like this game, it was Eddie Page. Eddie Page played great this last game, and he to me, you can see what he brings to the table. I don't even think Eddie knows what he can bring to the table of the potential that because we talked about that at the table. It's like, man, Eddie's going to be good.
Yeah,
he's just a sophomore.
Yes,
sophomore.
Well, not a lot of experience.
Ray talked a little bit about him.
He doesn't have a lot of experience. He was a JUCO kid that didn't really play a lot, but he has endless potential. Smart kid. Comes from GAC. Went to school at GAC, so. Another Atlanta kid, we got an opportunity to get and keep home. And I mean, he's in the lab, working on him, getting better offensively and continue to be consistent. But his potential is through the roof, so he's been a big spark for us. And, Coach always talks about that depth, and it's just like we're real intentional about that in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what else I liked? And I can see how you guys are slowly bringing him along, you're making sure you're getting the minutes. And I've spoken about this before. It's Kenneth Brayboy. I mean, he came in there, gave that shot in the arm for you guys. He had the dunk. He's playing hard. I like where he's going with this. And it's just the more minutes he gets in the future, he's going to be ready.
I agree with you. I love him. I love his energy, his attitude, and his effort. He's only going to get better. He's in the lab and, he's working on his ball handling, working on his quickness and foot speed and, being able to handle the ball and score off the dribble. So he's putting in the work and it'll pay off. It will pay off and you'll see him improve like you did Deuce and Baki.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. We talked about Keandre. Keandre played 13 minutes and had 11 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gonna fill it up. He gonna fill it up. That's
He
for
gonna
sure.
fill it up.
He gonna fill it up.
And when we say that, I want to make sure I say this. He's efficient with it as well. He played 13 minutes, was 3 for 4, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He missed one shot. He had 2
Yeah.
rebounds and 2 assists.
Yeah, and they took a basket from him on the poor offensive foul call.
Yes.
Was definitely a bad call. 'Cause I sent it to the director of officials yesterday. He wrote me back and said bad call.
So is that the one, Coach, when he was was that the one where he was inside the line when they called the charge? Oh,
Yeah.
I said something about that during the game. I was like, no. I was like, he was not outside the line when that charge was called.
That was a grown man move. Put the shoulder on him. That was it. He didn't extend. You know, he just went through him.
Yeah. I didn't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, you guys opened up some more eyes. And as crazy as this sounds, you opened up even more eyes during the loss to North Georgia, who's ranked number 4 in the country right now in D2. You guys took them down to the wire.
You know, we felt real good about that game. They do have 2 incredible players, 2 of the best in the conference and probably 2 of the best in the country. I still thought we went with them. I mean, there was 14 lead changes, 8 ties, I believe, or something like that. And it was a heck of a game. And, you know, we had just much of an opportunity to win that game as they did. But they came out on top. They were the better team. And, you know, their experience paid off for them. I thought our inexperience sort of hurt us down the stretch. They went on a little run there, and we didn't quite respond to it immediately. We did, you know, cut it down, but, you know, we just that run sort of hurt us, and, you know, they took the game from there. But it was a really good game, very much prepared and ready for that game, and, you know, really wanted that game. But North Georgia, you know, came out on top.
But see, those are the games that are going to get you guys ready, because I'm just going to call this now. It's going to get you ready for the Peach Belt tournament. Like this year, it's not going to be about you having to, you know, win 8 and 9 games in a row to, you know, have a shot to get in. No, it's looking like you guys are going to be, you know, in the tournament. And to be honest, I feel like there's going to be a number of teams that say, no, we don't want to play Clayton State this year.
Yeah, we hope that's the case. As we, you know, as the season goes on, we're hoping to progress and get better, you know. So we're certainly hoping that that's the case, Dave. And you know, we'll see. And, you know, God willing, you know, these guys will continue to come in and buy in, and we'll continue to get better. And you'll see a team that, you know, by the time March rolls around, be pretty good.
I couldn't agree more with you. Let's go ahead and get into this upcoming schedule for this week. Tomorrow, you got the perennial power. You got Augusta. You guys are traveling out to Augusta. It's always a good game when you and Dip go up against each other. You know, even back when your days at Aiken, and, you know, you come to Clayton State, it's been no different. The games have always been close. They've been challenging, you know, no matter what the records have been. And I don't expect it to be any different tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're prepared. We think we're prepared. We believe we are. They obviously are well coached and a very disciplined team. And, you know, we told our guys we're going to have to be, you know, very disciplined, and, you know, we're going to have to play together and not try to do it individually, you know, because they are at home and they're very good at home. So, but I think this is a game that we can certainly get, especially if our guys come to play like I think they will. You know, what do you think, Coach Dre? He was working on that defense today.
Like Coach said, man, I mean, having coached at Augusta and played at Augusta as a player, I mean, it's always an experience, because they have a great atmosphere. So you definitely got to be prepared, you know, and as a player, you definitely got to be mentally ready because their fans will, they get a couple threes, their fans are going crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So our guys, I think our guys are ready. We've been preparing our guys for these games, and the reason why we have the tough schedule that we do is to prepare them for games like this in conference. So it's a big statement game for our program. So looking forward to it.
Okay. And the next game, another ranked team, and Landers coming to the Loch on Saturday. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys will be prepared just like you will for Augusta, but another tough team, another ranked team that you guys will be playing, which will make it either the fourth or fifth ranked team that you played this year.
Yeah, they've been playing real well. I think they've won like I know they lost their first game of the season, and then after that, I think they
They
went
went
on
on
like
a run, yes.
7 or 8 game win streak. So they're playing real well. But we've played them relatively close the past 2 years, and I think we're going to be prepared, and certainly I think we'll go out and we'll compete. I think we can compete with anybody on any night.
Hmm.
Especially if our guys show up and do what they're capable of doing. So I look forward to that game just as well. Right now, I'm locked in on Augusta for several reasons. Locked in on them, but come tomorrow after that game, and God willing, we get a win. We'll lock in on Landon.
And I couldn't agree more with that. It's one game at a time. That should be the philosophy. Can we talk about Tyler Shirley and the week he's had this past week?
Yeah, T. Shirley. I mean that kid works. He puts in time. Was in the gym today, if I'm not mistaken, right, Coach Dre, working out with you, putting in some extra time. Him, Deuce. I mean, those guys. It's not surprising that they're having, the season that they're having, because those guys put in work. I mean, they really, spend time in the gym, working on their craft and trying to get better. And certainly, Ty Shirley showed a lot of that on Saturday. He showed up and showed out, and did a great job. And, shot the ball extremely well, rebounded. And he's a pretty good defender as well.
Yeah, and the other person that's been having a good week as well is Jamal Kleiss. He's gotten over those injuries, and Jamal's playing. He's playing good ball also.
Yeah, he just like you said, he's gotten over the injuries, and he's getting a little better. Each day he's getting better, and so hopefully he'll continue to do that. But we were very, very, very pleased to have him play well Saturday. He's the heart and soul of our team. He has that fire, and he brings it, and he's competitive, and he has a strong will to win, and so that helps. It really helps. It's contagious, and so hopefully he'll continue to play well as he continues to get well.
I agree. And one person I never can forget, because he's one of the leaders even as a redshirt sophomore, is Deuce Harper. I mean, had a great game as well. He had 16 points against USC Buford, and it's not like Deuce is forcing the game. Not like he's taking bad shots. He's in that same boat with Keandre. It's an efficient 16 points. Some people had those 16 points, but they taken like 20, 25 shots. And you're like, man,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
he's not
yeah,
doing that. And it's all around. Like, he had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals, 5
yeah,
assists, and a block. He filled
That's
up the stat sheet.
that's where he's
yeah,
the most impressive to me. Is underrated is his ability to rebound. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's relentless on that glass, man. He's relentless on that glass, and I know he scores it for us a lot, but on the glass, when he's on the glass, it just gives us an extra boost and an extra kick, kickstart to our possessions, man.
Mm.
But he's grown. His game is just, we always talk about it, but his
Oh, yeah,
game has grown so much, and he's still
yeah.
he's only a redshirt sophomore, so he's only going to get better. But I mean, he's just playing. He's playing as good as, to me, he's playing as good as anybody in the league right now.
Yeah.
That untapped potential, as you're saying. I mean, me and you talk about it a lot, but a lot of people that have seen Deuce in high school, he was raw, he was athletic, but when they see him now, they're like, man, what is going on? And I proudly said, I would say, man, it's that development at Clayton State. It is that development. And I said, and you have to give the young man credit as well, because he's in the gym all the time wanting to get better. But
he's relentless.
Between
He's
now
relentless.
and, my gosh, 2 years ago, it's like night and day.
That's the biggest difference is just him, because his freshman year, he played behind a 6'8" pro, Ricardo Lynch, that was pretty good, who we had for 1 year. If we had him for 2 years, he would have been even better. But
Oh man,
he would have been scary. But Deuce, it's a credit to him. It's a credit to his mentality and where he's changed. He's grown so much in that aspect of just because it's hard for a lot of guys in colleges to take that step to where they got to do the stuff that's hard coming in. I mean, in preseason, this dude was running miles. We didn't tell him to run miles,
on his own.
On the days we weren't conditioning. He's coming in, running miles and then coming to work out and then coming back in the gym to shoot after. Like he's taking it to another level, and that's why he's really seeing the success that he's seeing this year is because of the steps that he's taking. We pride ourselves in development, but he's the one that's driving it. He's taking that next step to really commit to being a great player.
And if we're going to stay right on that, one person we haven't mentioned as well, and he's been a solid contributor for you in so many different ways. Baki's another one. He's another one that has been contributing as well. Baki's not expected to put up 10, 15 points a game, but the improvement of Baki, like we said, coming in as a freshman to now, as a redshirt sophomore, that's another testament to you all.
Yeah. Well, like Deuce, Baki is another one that puts in a lot of work. He's relentless. He wants to be better, and he is getting better. He has gotten better, and it's scary where he and Deuce are just sophomores, and Eddie's just a sophomore, and Elijah Dace is just a freshman. Bray Boy is just a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's scary to think about the future with those guys, and where you in a couple of years it could be flipped where we're number 4 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And because we got such a really good young core that loves to get in the gym. Every one of those guys I mentioned, including Baki, who you started the conversation about, they like to get in the gym. They like to put in that extra work and perfecting, their game and trying to be the best that they can be.
And to your point of, since we're there, Marcus Harris is another one of those gym rats as well that's always in the gym. And I think it's just a matter of time that all these guys are going to really have major roles. And you can see it because they're in the gym, they want to get better, they're hungry, they're working out, they're putting in that extra work. And we all know that's what has to be done in college basketball if you want to be successful.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right, Dave.
Yeah, that's the separator. That's the separator.
Exactly. It's the separator right there. And that's why, to me, that's why you all are turning that corner. And, we all know this is a process and it takes time. Like, the expectation for you to come in here in 1 year and everything was going to be just hunky-dory, could it have happened? Yes. But then you have factors, like you say, with injuries. You have transitions on rosters and stuff like that. But now that you have the depth and you have quote unquote your players, you guys have your players in there now. I proudly said, man, this you can see it now. Not only can you see it, it's just a matter of time. And even USC Buford's coach gave you guys a big compliment as well. He was like, those guys are going to probably make a deep run.
Yeah, I just think like no one factors in, COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like some of these teams that we've watched have success over the last couple years, been together 5-6 years.
Yes.
That makes a big difference. You know what I mean? Like you talking about experience versus teams that haven't been together, that's only been together for 1 or 2 years. It makes a difference.
I agree with that, Dre, because basically what you're saying is you take Elijah Dates, Eddie Page, Travis Harper, Baki, Kenneth Brayboy, and you put them together for 6 years, yeah, they're going to be ranked.
Yeah, they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Like an NBA team in college, man.
Yeah, if you put them together for 6 years, like you said, if you added COVID, and we know that was a special exception, but even if you put them together for 3 or 4 years, yes, because now they all know each other's tendencies. They know the system inside out by that time of what Coach A's expectations are on offense and defense.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you think about it. North Georgia 2 or 3 years ago, they were scrapping. I mean, they were trying to get there. Them guys have been together. Frank Champion was there in the COVID year.
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, he's been there 4 years. And, and those guys have been there together. Some of his classmates, they've been together. So now, they're where they are because they took their lumps. This is really our first year with our whole team, all of our guys, so this could be special. And, only God knows, but, Dre and I are definitely going to work, and we're going to definitely try to continue to build this program to be a national powerhouse.
And I just want to touch on that even more so people understand this. When people looked at Augusta, when they had the big runs, last year and the year before, those guys have been together for what, 3, 4, 5 years, right?
4 and 5 years. Yeah.
Long time.
So yeah,
makes a difference, man.
It makes a huge difference. I couldn't agree with you guys more. And now to me, it's Clayton State's turn. Now it's just a matter of getting these guys the experience. You got the players. It's not even a question of do you have the players. You have the talent. So it's just a matter of once this team can gel together, because each one of them are starting to show, what they can do in different games. And now with these big games coming up during the conference, if you all can get on one accord where everybody's on one cylinder, oh man. Oh man.
That's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. And especially, I'd rather see it in February. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see it now, but I want to see it in February and March.
Yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I was just going to say, like, even with 8 players last year, we were a couple games away from making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody looks at the record, but, like, we weren't that far off with 7, 8 players, Like, those guys fought hard for us. Like, they fought hard,
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't give up. They didn't quit, So I think, another coach from another school in our league told us, like, hey, man, it's a credit to y'all because y'all kids, I don't think there's a staff that's been through what y'all been through this year, And they're like, that's a credit to what y'all do and a credit to y'all kids because they're fighting for y'all, So we know that, what we preach and what we prepare our kids to do, we know that it works. We're just on the other end of it this year where we have, we got a full team, a deeper team, in my opinion. So, like like it's not to say, you know, our first 2 years were failures, because I don't think they were failures. I think
Yeah.
obviously in our eyes we felt like we should have been top 4 in the league. Like that's just how we think. And coach always bring me back down to earth with that, because it's like in reality you ain't supposed to be top 4 in the league, you know, when you coming in taking over a program that was 0-11 the year before. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So always got to put things in perspective. But you know,
Yeah.
our guys are gonna work. You know, coach and I, we gonna work. We gonna grind. You know, that's just that's what we do. That's just it doesn't change. You know, from game to game, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you have to factor in losing Jalen Shaw.
That
I mean,
too.
that was huge. I mean, that was a blow that I don't know how many. I mean, take Tyshawn away from Augusta last year, and let's see where they end up.
Yeah, it's a different team.
See where they end up.
Man, I miss Big
Take
Fella
Frank
too.
Champion from North Georgia, and let's see where they end up. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
we lost Jalen Shaw, one of the top players in the conference, one of the top players in the country. You know, it was a hard blow, and you know we it was hard to overcome, but you know we kept working, and now we got some guys here, you know, that are doing what they need to do, and you know they're in the gym, they're getting better, and you know we played a grueling preseason schedule as we've talked about before. I mean, we played 12 games so far, and we played 8 on the road. You know, and that includes some nationally ranked teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we played a tough schedule, and like I was telling Todd the other day at the end of the game, you know, we could set up our schedule to be 7-2, 8-2, and 9-1. We could set it up if we want to. Trust me. You know,
Yeah.
it's a little hard to get games. Like Dre always tell me, Coach, nobody wants to play you, man. But
I'm
you
just telling
know,
you what they say, though. I'm just telling you what these guys say. I'm not gonna say that, oh, no, coach, nobody wants to play. I'm telling you what these guys are saying. That's what they say. That's what they tell me. So if you
yeah,
listening, we'll definitely schedule y'all.
yeah,
You just want to play. We'll play anybody. You know,
yeah, and that's what we do.
we started off the last 2 years, our first 2 years with Lincoln Memorial. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
2 years straight.
And that is what it is. We don't mind playing them, you know, but you know, we have to keep things in perspective. You know, our schedule is tough, and we have a new team, bringing them together. A lot of young guys, you know, that we're looking to. I mean, when you think about you know, you talked about several players, and you really only mentioned 2 or 3 that were back. The rest of them are all new
All
players.
new. Yes.
So that doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes people, you know, run into you know, they get a little luck, and well, you know, they you know put together a pretty good year, and that first year with all them new guys. But it's tough learning everything that we do, you know, in our system, learning our offense, our defense, and how we teach defense, and what we teach, and where we trap, and where you know where we double. It's not easy, and offensively, you know, we run a lot of stuff, you know, so, you know, it's not easy. So these guys are going to get better, and you're going to see they'll get better game by game. And, you know, my only hope is that we continue to stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay humble. And, you know, by the end of this year, you know, we're fighting for a conference championship.
Coach, before I let both of you all go tonight, I got a question, and this is for all the high school coaches out there that address you guys that think they have a player that, you know, that they think that could help Clayton State. For me, when they ask me, I tell them come to a game and see what it is first, you know, because a lot of times, you know, they have it in their mind that they have this kid that is going to be able to come to Clayton State and be able to play right away. And I wanted to talk about this on the show. So when people watch the show, you know, I say, hey, come to a game to see what type of style they play, what type of athletes they have, you know, so you can see if this is even a good fit before you even approach, you know, Coach Anthony or yourself, Coach Alexander, and say, you know, hey, I've watched you all play, because Dre, you know, most of the time they come to you first.
Yeah.
And you know, people will tell you, you know, oh, I got a guy, he's a day one starter, or, you know, he's he's at least worth 10 or 15 minutes from the door. And I know how you are, and you're like, hey, send me the highlights, we'll take a look. But for me, I'm kind of just to the point, be like, have you seen them play? And 9 times out of 10, well, nah, I'm just looking at the record. Or I'm looking at, oh well, it looks like they could use some help. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what type of system they play? Do the system you play, is it cohesive to what Coach Alexander is running? Is it even a fit for that young man?
Yeah. I mean, and I ain't mean to cut you off, but I honestly, I tell kids, if you could come to a preseason practice, come to a preseason practice, because the game sometimes isn't going to do it, because they're not really seeing, the whole truth of being a college basketball player, and conditioning and things like that, and having to get up and run, having to run, 6 minutes, run, sprint, jog, walk, for 6 minutes straight to end your day, and then shoot after that. Like, so I would say come to a preseason practice. If we're open, coach opens it up, if you want to come to a practice, you're more than welcome to come watch us practice, because I think that tells more of the truth versus coming to a game. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. To me, I think they need to be thorough. I think they need to come to a practice and a game.
Yeah.
I think they need to come to both so they can see what it is, because not just you all, so they can see the type of league of how good the Peach Belt is, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you get the best of both worlds when you come to a practice, preseason practice. Take it even further. You have preseason workouts, and then they'll have a preseason workout day, but they also have practice day. So you got a conditioning day, practice day, a weight room day, and then they still have to put their time in the gym shooting, and and then come to a regular practice when that starts, and then come to a game. See it all put together.
I agree. And that practice, to your point, Dre, is to get a better understanding of what Coach Alexander's expectations are and what the staff's expectations are as a whole in a practice. Because like you say, you can't see all of that during the game. You're seeing, quote unquote, the finished product, but they need to see, the running, the getting
Details.
on players. Yeah, the details. Yes, exactly.
The details. Exactly. I mean, and that's one thing. Like, I can't speak for other programs, but we are really a detail oriented program. You know what I'm saying? From top to bottom. And some players can't deal with that. Can't deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
We correct. You know what I'm saying? We correct. We're gonna correct how you're closing out. We're gonna correct how you're denying. We do it a certain way, and it's not always. There's habits that, when kids come in, that they have to break because it doesn't fit the way that we teach it. So you got to get on board with that, and some people can't deal with that. I remember when I came in as a player, like, playing for Coach A, it's no different. I'm the same as I was as a coach as I was as a player. It's all about the details and the way that we say do it. If you do it the right way, we can have success. And everybody's not perfect. We don't expect everybody to be perfect, but it's just, the attention to details of people just think, oh, it's D2, so it's, it ain't. But no, we try to we high level with it. You know what I mean? It's high level stuff. It's high level stuff, man.
Yeah. It is. You talk about that, Dre, and it's like we don't let anything slide. It's like, some guys, they like, man, do I do anything right? Well, we tell you when you do right too, but Dre and I correct. We correct everything. Like, if it's just a small thing where, hey, you rip, too wide. You didn't go tight body to body. Your shot fake wasn't good enough. It wasn't above your forehead. It was. That's not gonna. sell the defense if you shot fake like that. We talk about get the shot fake up. So I bet guys, be like, man, God dang, do I do anything right? We correct.
See, all of that is important, for people to hear because, like Dre said first, you guys are really, you get on these kids, and sometimes this is the first time they've heard nothing but praise all their life, and then when they hear correction, sometimes that's a shock to their system.
No question.
Yeah, how about Deuce Harper? He had a very, very good high school, and he had a tough time at first, us, telling him, Deuce, you got to do, you got to do this right. You got to do, he's gotten better, but he still is like, oh man, you got to get it right, man. You got to get it right. I was talking to, your guy at the microwave today. Like, stop hopping in the closeout. And he's like, what do you mean? What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Because I tell him that all the time. I go, stop hopping. And he goes, well, can you show me what I'm doing wrong? And then I showed him. He's like, oh, yeah, my bad. Came right back. He was doing it right after that. But he was like, hopping? What do you mean hopping, coach? What am I doing?
Details.
Detail, man. Detail could be the difference in 2 points, and 2 points could be the difference in a game.
Especially down the stretch. Oh,
yeah.
Especially down the stretch.
Look at all these scores in our league. Look at all these scores.
Look at those scores, how close they are.
That's how tough it is.
I expect when we get to the Peach Belt Conference when we get to the tournament, all those games are, we talk about this all the time, Dre, like when between the Peach Belt tournament and then, fortunately, the first and second round is usually in the Southeast, is usually somewhere here in Georgia. All of those games are come down to details. The last 3 minutes are execution and details. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
And you can't, if you don't prepare for those moments, and there's no way of being completely prepared for those moments, but
yeah,
if you don't go and prepare for those moments and have those habits, you're not even going to come close because teams are just too good and the coaches are too good. You know what I mean? So you got to respect that. You got to respect the game.
And as you said, those guys are experienced. So a lot of times they have been through this numerous times. Yep. Numerous times.
You can't substitute that. There's no substitution for that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, fellas, listen, I appreciate you all coming on the show as usual every week. I wish you guys the best this week, against Augusta and Lander. We'll be back next week as usual. I fully expect that, Clayton State are going to turn some heads. I know you guys get tired of me saying that, but I'm going to keep saying it because you can see the improvement. Like I said, 5-7 does not tell the whole story of where Clayton State is going. So like I said, tune into the show next week so I can come in and be like, I told y'all. That's gonna be outside of fire and ice. That's gonna be, I told y'all. Now not listening. I told y'all. But man, listen, thank you guys as usual. We're gonna do this again next week, and God bless. You guys have a good week.
God bless. Thank you. Take care, guys.